Welcome to episode 8 of the Tailgate Sports Podcast. Today we're going to be giving our NFL Week 5 takeaways and reactions. Then we're going to jump over onto our NFL Week 6 picks. And then we're going to finish off the show with a little bit of NBA talk. We're going to give our top 5 teams in the East right now. Starting off with our takeaways, I think we got to talk a little bit about the Falcons on Thursday night. An electric game, division matchup. It performed and lived up to the expectations. This was an absolute banger. Kirk Cousins is back. There's no doubting it anymore. Throwing for, I think, 500 yards plus. And he just performed phenomenal, getting everybody in this offense really worked in. Kyle Pitts had one of the best games he's had since his rookie season. Bijan Robinson and Tyler Allgeier, the running game wasn't too great in this game, but the passing game was phenomenal. Everybody was really heating up. Going on over to this Jets game, the Jets lose to the Vikings, and Aaron Rodgers did not look that great, throwing an interception at the end of the game to basically lose them the game. And then after this game, the Jets fire Robert Saleh, and I really don't think it's going to change too much. Yes, Robert Saleh was an issue, but I think there's a lot more issues with this team than just the coaching, and this is just the Jets thing to do. They panic a bit, and they fire their head coach 5 games into this season. This has never really been done before by this owner, firing someone halfway through the season. And I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm sure that this is going to put a halt on the Davante Adams trade talks. And where does this put this team? They had Super Bowl aspirations going into the year, and now I think they're pretty much all gone. He targeted Garrett Wilson 20-something times in that game against the Vikings, and they couldn't get the run game really going. But Aaron Rodgers, he needs another guy, and they have yet to do so. And now with an interim coach, to my knowledge, I don't think any team has ever won the Super Bowl with an interim coach. So I think all Super Bowl aspirations are gone with this team. They have a lot of issues that need to be fixed. I do think that Robert Saleh was an issue, and this is something that will probably make the team a little bit better. But is it something I think that should have been done 5 games into the season? No, I think maybe halfway through the season, if their record still continues to plummet, maybe, or this is something they should have did in the preseason before the season started, if this is something they were even thinking about. I'm curious to see what happens with this Jets team moving forward. The Commanders and Jayden Daniels look great, and Jayden Daniels looking like he is the best quarterback in the draft. So far for the year, he has 1,100 yards, 8 total touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and a 77% completion percentage. He has been great. This offense is leading the league in scoring with, I believe, 31 points per game. I think it's almost time to say this team is a contender, a real contender. I know the defense is the one thing that people are scared about, and definitely, they've been one of the worst defenses the last 2 years, but having Dan Quinn as their head coach, I do think that gives the defense promise. He's a defensive guy. He could really get this defense working together and scheming it up. I do think that the defense can get better, but the offense has been lights out, and this is something you are definitely excited to see as a Washington fan. You know you got your guy. It's only his rookie year, so you don't have to be upset if they don't make the playoffs, that they don't, contend really, which it looks like they could, but it gives you a lot of hope for next year, especially starting off this hot this year. I'm sure they're going to go in, try to get him some more weapons, beef up this defense, and I think next year this team could be a real contender if it it's not already. This team has exceeded all expectations for the year. The coaching has been great. The offense is just clicking. And I know people with Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray came into his, career and was lights out, phenomenal, looking like a superstar. And then him and Cliff Kingsbury kind of fell off a little bit. I don't really see that happening with Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels' play style is definitely different, and that attitude and kind of the aura this guy brings, he is just a nonchalant guy, goes out there and performs. This team looks great, and I'm excited to see what their future holds. The Buffalo Bills lose to the Houston Texans, and it is rough, and I'm not panicking too much yet. Josh Allen had the worst game of his whole entire career, and they still only lost by 3 points, a game-winning field goal. The Bills made some terrible decisions late in the game. They could have sent it to overtime potentially, but the game management was terrible. Ended up having a not a good position to punt out, give them some room for a field goal, and Fairburn knocks it in. But Josh Allen went 9 for 30 in this game, and I think it definitely poses an issue with the wide receiver room. This was something we talked about going into the season, and then the first 3 games, it looked like they were really getting something going on, and then they go up against these good defenses, and it's kind of clear to me they need a number 1 wide receiver. And there is potential that they could potentially go out and get one right now. I don't know if the Bills will do that. Their cap space is not looking well right now, but there definitely are some guys they definitely should make a push. There's guys out there like Deontay Johnson. He, for the salary cap, he could fit the Panthers. Their season's pretty much a dumpster fire, so I could see them getting rid of one of their guys over there. Any 3 of those guys with Jonathan Mingo, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, any of those guys would really work, with Amari Cooper being out there, Devontae Adams being out there. Michael Thomas is still a free agent. This is something that the Bills should definitely be looking into, because the offense looked absolutely crucified in the passing game, and continuing to go up against these elite defenses, if you aren't able to figure something out in this room, there's going to be an issue. I know a lot of these guys are new, and a lot of guys expected Kincaid to really pop off this year, and he's been having a little bit of issues. Keon Coleman, he's a rookie, but he looks good, but you can't expect him to take on the whole entire load. I'm not really sure what's going on with Curtis Samuel. They bring him in for, I think, like $8 million a year, and they are using him like, I don't even know, like a Deontay Hardy from last year. They're not using him in an efficient way. He should be in the slot, and he especially with Khalil Shakir out, I expected him to elevate and some of these guys to really step up, and that just did not happen. There are issues with this offense. The defense started off a little slow in the first half, but the defense ended up getting it together. But this offense is putting a crutch on this team, basically. They need to be better. They need to make a move or really figure it out. They go up against the Jets next week, and this is a must-win in my opinion. You can't go in against this Jets team and lose, especially with all the drama going on over there. But the Jets, they've had your number in the past. They have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be a tough matchup. They have a good defense. If the Bills could win this one, and the offense looks good, I don't see the Bills making a move, and I'm sure they'll just try to figure it out. That's what the Bills usually do. But if they go in and lose, I could seriously see this team going out and getting another wide receiver. The Bengals lose to the Ravens in a great matchup, great game. This is probably the game of the week. It started off slow. The Bengals were down, and then they brought it back. Joe Burrow having an unbelievable game, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and I know he did throw a pick on the last drive that could have potentially got them the win, but the offense has been unbelievable. Joe Burrow has been playing the best ball he has in his career. Statistically, he has been great, but this defense really holds them back. They have been absolutely terrible. In the first half, here and there, they had their spurts, but this defense is inconsistent, and it's just not good. If this team even has any hope of going to the playoffs, Joe Burrow is going to have to play at this level every single week, and that's just not sustainable in my opinion, going up against defenses. I know the Ravens defense is really good, but they, even against the Cowboys, they've had moments where you question it, and I think that they're going to go up against better defenses, and Joe Burrow's not going to be able to sustain this. So, in my opinion, the Bengals season's over, but this offense, I know if you're a fan, you're still holding on to that possibility because they looked phenomenal. And Joe Burrow will continue to do this, but they need to figure out that defense. And Zach Taylor, I think, should be on a hot seat a little bit here. This is season and season and season again. They start really slow in the beginning of the season, and I think that falls on to the coaching a little bit. The play calls are not great. This team has a lot of issues. It's not just the defense, but the defense is definitely the main issue. The 49ers lose to the Cardinals. I'm still not panicked. Okay, I'm a little panicked, but they played great ball, and Jake Moody going out really hurt them. They had multiple drives where they just had to go for it because they didn't have Jake Moody to go for a field goal. They definitely could have won this game if they had a kicker. I know it shouldn't have been this close to begin with, but the 49ers, I'm not too worried. I know that they will get it together. We've seen them struggle in the past and then figure it out. The 49ers are one of the best teams in the NFL despite the slow start. The Chiefs looking like they're still the team to beat in the AFC, as much as that makes me enraged. But Patrick Mahomes, even not playing his best football, has been able to keep winning and winning and winning. He had Juju Smith-Schuster with 130 yards this week. And Travis Kelce looking like himself again. He has 70 yards. I know Kareem Hunt looked phenomenal out there. This team still looks great. I still think they do need a real wide receiver one. But Patrick Mahomes showing he is the best QB in the NFL. There are no questions about it. Drake May just got announced to be the starter for Week 6. I really don't understand what they're doing here. I'm only going to briefly talk about this one, but they came into the season and they started Jacoby Brissett over Drake May, and everybody, had no problem with it. The New England Patriots were doing a good job at developing him, not throwing him out into the water with nobody. And now 5 games in the season, they start Drake May. I just don't understand. They still have nothing. Their offense is absolutely terrible. I am excited to see how Drake May does. He is a good quarterback, but I just don't see what throwing him out there now is going to do for this team, no matter what. This team has no aspirations at a playoff run, none of that, so I don't understand why just throwing him out into the water with these bad wide receivers, bad offense, but I'm excited to see how Drake May does. We're going to go right on over to our NFL Week 6 picks. Starting off with the 49ers and the Seahawks on Thursday night, division matchup. This could be a bounce back for both teams, but I'm going to go with the 49ers here. Jags and Bears. The Bears defense is better, and it looks like Caleb Williams is starting to figure it out. Give me the Bears. Bucks and Saints. Derek Carr is out. Give me the Bucks. Commanders and Ravens. This is going to be an exciting game. This is going to be a great game to watch. I kind of want to pick the Commanders here. Cardinals and Packers. I'm going to rock with the Packers here. Colts and Titans. I'm not sure if Anthony Richardson is playing or not, but I'm going to go with the Colts here. Texans and Patriots. Give me the Texans. Browns and Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles here. Deshaun Watson is just not good. Chargers and Broncos. The Broncos have been on a little bit of a heater. I'll go with the Broncos here. Steelers and Raiders. I'm going to go with the Steelers. Falcons and Panthers. Give me Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. Lions and Cowboys. This is going to be a really good matchup. I think the Cowboys need this one. I'll go with the Cowboys here. Bengals and Giants. The Bengals need this win. Give me the Bengals. The Bills and the Jets division matchup. This is going to be a tough matchup, but give me the Bills. Those are our NFL Week 6 picks. We're going to go on and head over to our last segment. These are my top 5 NBA contenders in the East. Starting off, you have to give it to the Celtics. They just won the championship. This team is still phenomenal, keeping everybody. Give me the Celtics at 1. At 2, I'm going to take the Knicks. I really like the moves that they've been making, bringing in Mikal Bridges and now Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm going to put them at 2. I think the defense is great, and now they added some more consistent offense. At number 3, I'm going with the 76ers. With Nick Nurse, this defense is going to be great. He really had an impact on the defense last year, and now bringing in Paul George makes this offense a little more consistent and efficient and gives the team more depth. I'm going with the 76ers at 3. At 4, I'm going with the Bucks. Giannis and Damian Lillard another year in. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Giannis is dominant. I have to put them at 4. And at 5, this one was really hard. Had it in between a couple teams, but the Pacers last year really impressed me. I think their defense is going to get better this year, and the offense is very efficient. I'm going with the Pacers at 5. I'm very excited for the NBA season. The preseason has started. I'm hyped to see some basketball, and with the NBA season coming in, we're going to have a lot more content. I love the NBA. I love to talk about it. So expect that in more episodes. That's all we have for episode 7. I think this is actually 8. That's all we have for episode 8. Tune in next week for episode 9.